After the realization of how the Reaper came to be, the house became extraordinarily quiet. The only thing she heard were the cardinals and blue jays dancing within the willow trees. Tatiana had to literally process what she heard until she exploded. Holy red plumbops, Mimey! We are the reason the Reaper exists. Oui, Tati, and there is more. I don't know if I can handle any more, she proclaimed with pure sincerity. If you would rather, we could leave the discussion for another time when you have processed the rest. Juliet promised with genuine concern. No, Mimey, I'll go crazy wanting to know it all, so please, proceed, her granddaughter demanded. Oui, but no, that we can stop at any time. I know we can. Thank you for your consideration, Mimey. However, I really need to know. Tatiana started plucking at her tattered edges of her jean shorts. She tended to pick at things when under severe stress. Very well, mon ange. Celeste and the Reaper had a child together, a little girl named Abigail. By this time, both Celeste and Adriel realized they were unfit parents, and they gave the girl to a symbolic adoption facility to raise. They did not want her growing up around all the death and devastation. Cowplant roots! We are the descendants of a vampire and the Reaper. The magnitude of what that meant was overwhelming. Oui, mon petit chou. Abigail grew up in an healthy environment, although most of the caretakers were strict and cold. The head caretaker, Sister Mary Agatha, was incredibly loving, compassionate, wise. Abigail made many friends among the other orphans that became more like her sisters than roommates. Even though the little girl was raised with all this care and attention, Abigail still felt a part of her was missing. Sister Mary Agatha loved her Abigail as if she were her own child. Although she was not supposed to have favorites, she couldn't help herself from doting over the affable little girl. She would often read to her in the garden and sing to her by the river. Sometimes, Sister Mary Agatha would save her dessert from her own meal to give to her little girl. As the orphanage denied the children sweets as a rule, life for Abigail was peaceful. These genuine attentions and simple life in the orphanage filled her with unspeakable joy. Sorrowfully, when Abigail became a teenager, her path's initiation was triggered. She, like yourself, went through many uncomfortable situations which her caretakers could not ignore.
What path was chosen for Abigail?
Like you, Tati, Abigail became a witch, for she had more good elements within her. But because of the faith linked to the orphanage, the leadership at the church deemed Abigail possessed, demonic, and was forced to leave her sanctuary. Not even her faithful Sister Mary Agatha could help her. Before Abigail left the orphanage, Mary Agatha broke the code of ethics and told Abigail who her parents were. Abigail became heartbroken with the knowledge that her parents were still alive. How could they be so selfish that they would give her up for adoption so lackadaisically? How could two humans be so cold-blooded, she thought. Everyone she knew in the orphanage feared her when they learned the church labeled her possessed. They all turned their backs on her, save for Mary Agatha, for the sister would always love her little girl. Abigail was overwhelmed by the path's initiation, for she knew not what had overtaken her. She herself was convinced she was evil. One day she was normal, the other she was not, yet Her priority was not necessarily understanding her changes, but to confront her parents. As for the orphanage, there was nothing more for her to do there. For all she knew, she was in fact possessed. Teenage Abigail showed up at Adriel and Celeste's doorstep. She was incredibly jaded because of her parents' rejection and abandonment at birth. She wanted answers. She would receive them to her dismay.
Yeah, she found out she was a repire.
She was a witch, Tati, and a very bitter one. After Celeste told her who she was and confessed her legacy, she became violently consumed with rage and yelled at her parents. She told Celeste that her real mother would never abandon her child. The chaos and anger ignited by her words called upon her powers, and in an instant turned Celeste into a figurine. Grimm's emotions were heightened. Outrage and deep-rooted pain was so strong he retaliated against his daughter, for he knew he could not turn his beloved back without the spell backfiring. He promised his daughter that when she became an adult, she would see him again. She would pay for her mother's demise and go through the exchange. Of course, Abigail did not know what that meant. Upon her adult birthday, she found out. And so goes the curse of the Reaper. He will visit us once in our life and partake in an exchange whether we like it or not. It is for him half parts revenge and half parts necessity, for it keeps him young and full of stolen fey magic that will fuel his path of darkness and death forever.
So our curse is threefold? We go through the paths, we can only have one kid, and we have to partake in an exchange with Grandpa Death Breath when we become an adult?
Oui, but Tati, there is a fourth part to our curse. Tati stood up at her grandmother's last proclamation. She paced the ground and bit her nails.
You make me want to jump off of the bluff and straight into Emily's mouth. You know that, don't you?
Juliet remained calm, for she knew nothing she said now would calm her granddaughter. Even still, she tried. You cannot die, Tati. You are immortal until the day of the exchange.
Ha! Thanks for the reminder. Okay.
Tatiana sat back down.
Band-aid it. Tell me, what is the fourth part of our curse?